Hello viewers, welcome to a lecture series on marketing management, and this is going to be part 8 of our lectures on marketing of services. So I'll be extending my discussion on the topic wherein we have been talking about how to go for using or strategizing the P's, that is marketing P's, for the promotion of services, or I would say for actually doing the marketing of services. And as I've been telling you and reminding you time and again, that dealing with the marketing of services itself is a very difficult and significant task. So how do we promote services? How do we establish or position our services in the light of the changing environment in which we are interacting? So what different strategies we are supposed to resort to when it comes to marketing of services, that we have been discussing. So the key differences and challenges and strategies we've already discussed about, and I'll be extending the discussion on the same topic, and then we shall talk about the integrated service marketing communication, which is also known as ISMC. So here we talk about the integrated marketing, and from the integrated marketing we have got this term integrated services marketing communication, and eventually we'll talk about how do we develop new services, how to develop new services, what exactly is the process which is being adopted into that, and then eventually we'll talk about service branding and of course the positioning of it. So with this as an agenda, let me tell you that when we go for promotion decision in services, we have to understand that services marketing necessitates a very different kind of emphasis on promotion than marketing of physical goods, or what you call as physical products. Although the broader definition of marketing doesn't make any distinction between the products and services, and it says that any offering which can satisfy the needs of the customers is called product. It can be in the terms of person, place, activity, organization, or idea. So it is not limited to the physical product only, but when we talk about marketing of services, we have to understand that this services marketing is entirely different from that of marketing of physical products. So services are intangible, services are difficult to evaluate and promote, we all understand, and that very nature of service actually makes it distinct from that of physical product. So the advent of we all know that internet and online communication channels, it has dramatically and drastically transformed the information usage of services customers. So keeping that in mind, we have been discussing about the service advertising strategies must be matched with the properties of intangibility. So there I had already told you about the incorporeal existence of the services as a property of intangibility, as a property of incorporeal existence, the basic nature of abstractness, and there we have been discussing about the different kind of strategies which are needed for these very characteristics of services, and accordingly we need to change the advertising strategies. So when we talk about property of intangibility, we have to talk about the advertising strategy in a different mode, and of course when we talk about incorporeal existence, we have to look at the physical representation, and we have to show the physical components of services which are very much unique, and they need to indicate the high quality, and they must create the right association. So these things we have been discussing about. I told you about the incorporeal existence, the very property of the services, and accordingly the kind of changes we are supposed to incorporate, abstractness, and also the what you call a generality we had discussed. And many services and service promises, they are described in generalities, and I told you that by simply saying that services are amazing, or we believe into superior quality, or we are completely having satisfied customers, that is not going to be a very sufficient kind of feedback. It is going to make it difficult to distinguish them from competitors offering. We need to be very precise and concise in telling that in what manner we are different from that of our competitors. So that is something which makes our services different, and that is why in due course of our discussion we'll talk about the services branding, how do we go for branding services and all. And in line with that, we have a trait called non-searchability. What exactly we mean by this is that it actually refers to the inability of intangibles to be searched or inspected prior to purchase. So unlike physical products where we can search the product, we can have a look at the product, we can make an inspection of that particular product, in case of services, unless we avail that service, we can't make any comment on that. And that is why the feedback, or I would say word of mouth publicity, is more important. It becomes more important and prominent in case of services marketing, because those who have already availed the services, they are the one who are going to tell you that yes, in this particular service or in this specific service provider service, we found the experience to be the best one, or to be the excellent one, or even if it is negative, then too we come to know about that. So this non-searchability nature of the services, it actually makes it distinct in different ways from that of the products, from that of the physical products. So we have to understand that whether it is mental impalpability, where many services are often complex, multidimensional, or I would say they are very much unique in nature. You don't have any experience of using those services because they are so much new that people are not aware of that particular service, or even they could not think of that this can also be a services. So consumers, particularly new prospects, they find it very difficult to make an interpretation of it or understand what the experience will be like and what benefits will result. They are not able to actually interpret or draw an inference out of the service which they are going to avail. And here the George and Berry proposed that in case of services, a customer is buying the performance of the service personnel, and therefore the advertising in service industry should not only restrict itself to encouraging consumption, but it should also encourage employees to perform well, because it is the employee who is the face of that particular service which we are going to avail. So if you are making a visit to a hotel or to a particular hospital or to a particular service provider, the person at the front desk is going to become the face of that service provider. So whatever experience I get when I am visiting a particular service provider, the first hand experience, the first experience at the front desk is actually something which is going to decide the very branding of that particular service provider. So, George and Berry, they proposed 6 basic guidelines to help in designing the effective advertising programs. They have given the 6 steps into that, and the first one is that the advertising should have positive effects on contact personnel. So, whatever advertising you are actually making, it must have a positive impact or effect on contact personnel. So, the employee who is going to contact the clients, then of course they should have positive impact on they should have that positive image of that particular advertisement. Second is the advertising should capitalize on the word of mouth. Of course, whatever is the word of mouth publicity, and that word of mouth publicity is emanating or originating for your work, whatever work you have done. It is just like when we are taking a class, and at the fag end of the semester, when we are about to leave our students, and they innocently ask this question that will you be teaching any other subject in the next semester, that itself speaks volume about the satisfaction they have into their mind. So it is only the satisfaction because of which they are thinking that yes, I must get this teacher in the next semester as well. Otherwise they somehow try to get rid of that person, that somehow I am able to get rid of this person, and now I should not see even the face of that particular person. So that can be a very lightest example which we can give in the classroom. So advertising should capitalize on the word of mouth, that we need to understand. It must capitalize on word of mouth. So whatever word of mouth publicity, and more appropriately I would use the word word of mouth, electronic word of mouth, because people are giving their feedback online itself, and whatever is the rating and rankings you are finding, like Google rating, you are finding that you can give your feedback and the score is already there. So accordingly the person who is going to avail the service may think of or may make a judgment that yes, if the rating is running around 4 or 4.5, then of course majority of the people must have been satisfied with the services. Next is the advertising should provide tangible clues to the customer. This is something very important, because in services, in case of services marketing, you are not offering anything tangible. So your advertisement must have that capability of providing some clues, or I would say tangible clues to the customers, so that they can think of, they can have a faith or believe into the advertisement or into the service provider, that yes, this advertising is talking about the services and it is showing certain evidences. Next is, advertising should make the service offering easily understood. You should not make it, you should not present a particular advertisement of services in a very complex manner. It should be easy to understand. People should understand that it is talking about which service and what are the service locations, that you should be able to understand. Next is, advertising should contribute to the continuity, and of course it is talking about the consistency and continuity, and that should be there. And the next one is, advertising should promise what is possible. You should not make any promise which is impossible to make. So the possible or the realistic presentation or representation must be there. It should not be like a fairy tale where you are making bigger promises and which are hard to keep. So that should not happen. So whatever is possible, that promise should only be made into the advertising. So these are some of the key points which we are supposed to keep in mind when we are formulating a strategy for marketing of services, and specifically when we are formulating an advertising strategy for marketing of services. When we have to communicate about the service, these are the points which we must keep in our mind. And here comes the role of integrated service marketing communication. So the new word for marketing communication for services is ISMC, which means integrated service marketing communications. Now what is the role of integrated service marketing communication? Before I tell you about that, let me remind you about the integrated marketing. What is integrated marketing and from where it has originated? It has originated from the marketing concept. When initially we were talking about the different marketing concepts, I told you about the production concept, the product concept, selling concept, marketing, and then eventually societal concept. So in the evolution of marketing, when we reach to the level of marketing concept, which is the most comprehensive concept of marketing, it talks about the integrated marketing, which means that, and where it communicates that while doing the integrated marketing, whatever promises you are making to your customers, your production department must be aware of that, because you are making a promise as a marketer to your customer, but you can only keep the promises once your production department is preparing or manufacturing the products in accordance to the customer's need. So customers' needs must be informed to everyone, not only to the selling department but also to the production department. So there we talk about the integrated marketing, and again here in marketing of services, the same role persists, the same role continues. So the role of ISMC here is to coordinate with the various departments which are actually responsible for different aspects of a company's service market communications. So whatever you are communicating, at every point we should be on the same page. It should not be like that the person who is doing the advertising is speaking something else, and the service provider who is in direct contact with the customer is speaking something else. So there has to be an integration among all. At all points there has to be an integrated service marketing communication, which is actually the essence of marketing of services. So for instance, if I am talking about the marketing department in association with an advertising agency is in charge of advertising, and the PR department of I would say public relations, the functional specialists are in charge of a company's website and its direct marketing and promotion activities. So we have to understand operations personnel for customer service and human resources for training. So all these departments, all these responsibility centers are there, and ISMC is going to connect and reinforce communication so that everyone involved understands both the company's marketing strategy and also its consumer promises. So whatever promises you are making to your customers through your advertisement, you need to be in a position to keep those promises, because if you don't keep promises, it is going to have direct impact on your clients, on your number of clients, and also the word of mouth publicity. So we have to understand that ISMC is the only solution. because it is going to connect and reinforce communication to everyone, and everyone should be on the same page. That is actually the essence of marketing communication when we talk about marketing of services. So here, my dear learners, till now we have talked about the different kind of strategies we have to resort to when we are going for marketing of services. Now, in due course of our discussion, we should understand that in case of physical products, we have been talking about new product development. So, can it be possible to talk about new services development as well? Of course, yes. We should talk about the new services development, that how do we develop new services. The question comes, what is new services? The service which is never heard of, and you are going to do the marketing of that. That is called new service development. You are developing, you are in the process of developing a new service. So there are 7 levels in the hierarchy of new services development which have been suggested by VIII et al. VIII et al. Has actually significantly contributed towards the literature of marketing of services, and they present before us 7 levels in the hierarchy of new service development. And the first level is the style changes, and it is actually the most basic type of innovation which involves practically no change to processes or performance. When I am talking about new services, it means I am going to present something new before you as a service provider. So if I am only making a change in terms of style only, then of course it is the most basic type of innovation which involves practically no change to processes or performance. So although they are very much visible, they are highly visible, the rate of visibility is very high when you talk about style changes. For instance, suppose if you are revamping a retail branch of a particular bank and you are redesigning the website, that can be some of the examples. You are changing the color and logo of your brand. That can also be a way of presenting a change into your product, into your services, or into your institution. So it can be a style change, that you are actually breaking the monotony by simply telling that yes, now we have revamped our retail branch, or we have come up with a new color onto new color combination onto our website, we have redesigned the way you operate on the system. So these can be few of the examples of this level of change, where the change is only in terms of style. Second one is when we talk about service improvements. Here the level is slightly improved, or I would say the level is slightly increased. It involves minor changes in the performance of existing services which you are actually offering to your customers. For instance, it can be an improvement either to the core product, or you can have some existing supplementary services. So you are either making some improvements into your core offerings or into your existing supplementary services. I can give an example of it. For instance, suppose if you are making a visit to a hotel, and the hotel may offer guests the option of selecting the music from a variety of genres. For instance, you can go for selecting vocal, instrumental, Hindustani classical, or western, and so on. So this can be a kind of service improvement which practically costs nothing to the service provider, or even if the cost is there, it is very minimum. So this can also be another level of second level of addition to the new services, or I would say it is actually inching towards development of new services. You are incorporating some new services, or you are improvising the existing services. This is the second level. After this, the third level is supplementary service innovation. This is the point where we get little more serious about offering better services or betterment into the services. It includes the addition of new facilitating or enhancing service elements to an existing core service, or we can say the significant improvement of an existing supplementary service. You are offering some existing services and you are making a significant improvement into that. So if you ask me for the example of it, I would say we may consider the digital payment option which you are getting by a particular service provider, that they are adding number of options, digital payment options to you for making the payment process very easier, smooth, and customer friendly. So that can be another example. In line with that, next one is process line extensions. Here again, the more we go a step ahead, the better the services are going to be, or there can be some more additions to the services. There can be a process line extension. Actually, it represents new ways of delivering existing service products. For instance, the development of online or app based self service options. You must have witnessed that some of the service providers earlier, they used to have counters, they used to have people at the counter providing you the services, but now after revamping of their entire process, they have come up with the app based or self services options. For instance, if you visit any Zara store nowadays, they have come up with this very change into their process line extensions. There, it is completely manless process. You have to select your articles, you have to keep it in the bin, and the billing is done. So even the tags, which are there is no hassle of removing the tags and all. Even the tags after billing, they are actually deactivated. So the app based self service options nowadays, they are very much in, because it is not only a new thing for the customers, but it is also reducing the cost to the service provider. So in case of product, it is very much being added, but also in case of services, the service providers, they are coming up with this kind of idea, this kind of extension. Next is product line extensions. Here we are adding new services which that typically provide the same core service, but they are tailored to meet different needs. So in a way, I would say it is a kind of customization into the services. You are providing a customized service to a person according to their own specific requirement, and that is being termed as product line extensions. And the best example of it can be the product line extension of banking services, which includes not only the deposits and loans, but nowadays they are offering you the credit cards, they are offering you the mutual fund investment plans, they are offering you the bank assurance, that is called insurance services. So that can also be an extension to their existing product line. And then comes at this level, we talk about major process innovations. Here we are talking about the metamorphical change into your services which you are offering. So it actually involves the use of new processes of delivering existing core products in a new and improved ways. For instance, online education is actually changing the dynamics of traditional classroom teaching. It has now become the new norm, the new reality, or I would say the new normal. It is that people are increasingly relying on to the online education. That too, they are talking about self-paced education. So why can't we have education in a self-paced manner? Why can't I complete a particular course as per my own convenience? So that is also happening. This is a kind of major process innovations, and you can consider it to be a new services in real sense, in true sense. Then comes when we talk about the inclusion of new core products markets that have not been previously defined. So you can have major service innovations as well, which means including the creation of new core products for markets that have not been previously defined. Example of it can be app based cab services provided by companies, for instance Uber and Ola. They have created a new mode of transportation. They have redefined the entire transportation system. Gone are the days when we used to book the taxi or the cab for the entire day, and we used to make payment for the entire day to them. Now it is a new reality that you want the cab for a limited distance, you can hire from your location as per your convenience, and once your travel is over, your payment is done, contract is over. So this is a new reality. This is called major service innovation. So my dear learners, in this way, when we talk about the new service development, we are in a way by trial and error, or by hit and trial, we are trying to add some newness into the services. We are bringing up with some service innovations, and in this way one day comes when we are coming up with an entirely new or brand new services with us. So these are certain important levels of services which we must know when we talk about new services development, and it can be possible. Now after this, we will talk about the service branding and positioning. How do we go for branding services? How to differentiate your services with that of your competitors? So can you create, unlike products, you don't have any physical object to give, any physical item to give. So you have to understand how do we do the branding of services. That is something which I'll be presenting before you in the next lecture of mine. Thank you so much.